Find your tax code here called NR, purchase from non-GST register, because this company, their turnover is below 5,000 ringgit, so they no need register the GST. Example, now I make one transaction, purchase from this supplier. I go to transaction, stock receipt, click new button, key in the invoice number, key in the date, call up the supplier, call Emas supplier example. So the tax code automatically show is NR. It's no GST. Let's say the purchase price is 2,000. Okay, the tax code is NR. When I preview the invoice, you can see that there is no GST because the supplier is belong to non-registered GST. For the invoice, you can key in the invoice as a normal. The invoice number is auto running, so I just key in the date, the invoice date, select the customer, I want to do the billing, then the tax code by default, it will appear here is the tax. Then I go to details, just call up the item as a normal. Example, I sales once quantity at the 5,000. The tax code is tax. When I preview the invoice, the GST 6% is automatically calculated. For the invoice format, you have to take note. You need to have the word called tax invoice in big and black color. And you need to show up your company GST registration number. At the bottom, you need to show up the GST summary. The GST 6%, the amount is 5,000, so the output tax is $300. If there is the item, let's say some item is zero tax, then it will appear the amount of zero tax. If some other item is zero tax, some other item have the 6% GST, so you also can predefine your tax code in individual item. For the invoice, we come about 3 standard format. This one just now I already showed you. I go to the foreign currency invoice format. If you invoice to your foreigner, the invoice format, you need to take note is, you need to show up your, let's say I invoice to my customer in Singapore. I need to show up this price is belong to Sing dollar, and the amount is shown in Sing dollar, and I need to show up the Ringgit Malaysia amount. Means I need to show up 2 amount. One is Sing dollar, and another one is Ringgit Malaysia. Another format you need to take note is the tax invoice by detail. The tax invoice by detail means if the invoice, some item is with tax, some item is without tax. So the invoice format you need to show up is normal quantity, price, amount. After discount, you get that amount. Then you need to show out the individual, the item with tax, GST 6% is how much, and the total amount with GST. This is the difference. Example, let's say I key into invoice to one Singapore customer. The tax code, we put it JRE, zero rated export. When go to detail, I key the item, let's say 10,000. I select the foreign currency invoice format. You can see that this 10,000 is Sing dollar, but you need to show another column called Ringgit Malaysia. According to the 21-day rule, after issue a DO, within 21 days, you need issue the invoice. So now I want to show you how Emas system to handle this 21-day rule. First, I go to the DO transaction. Let's say I issue one DO. The date I put 1st of January. This DO is without price. Okay, after that, I go to transaction. There's a menu called GST Malaysia. Inside the GST Malaysia, there's another menu called outstanding delivery order. Until 31st of January, I want system to show me got how many outstanding DO. Not yet issue invoice. So what I do is I just click the generate invoice button here. DO not yet issue the invoice after the day. You can key in 21 days, but normally we key in earlier a bit because we want to know before 21 days I need issue the invoice. So now I click the generate invoice button. The system automatically will list up those invoice already over 21 days. So what I want to do is I just click to generate which DO you want to generate invoice. The system will auto pick up the DO to generate invoice based on the customer number. Same customer number, they will generate to one invoice. Different customer will go to different invoice. Okay, now I click the OK button. The invoice is generated. Okay, now I go to invoice transaction. You can see the invoice generated here. So I go to detail. Of course, because the DO is without price, so now I just need to key in the price. So the GST is automatically calculated. For the delivery order, we have another control. You can go to admin of stock, board setup, page 7. User allowed to view outstanding DO when logged into the system. You can specify the issue invoice user ID. During the user log in the system will prompt up the message if they found there is the outstanding DO over 21 days. Example, now I key in the user ID called admin here. The admin is the issue invoice user. Okay, now I go to enter one delivery order. Example, the DO number. Okay, I key in the first first of May lah. I just simply key in one DO without price. Now I exit the system. Now I log in the accounting system again. I log in the user ID called admin. Admin is the issue invoice user ID. The system now will automatically prompt out outstanding DO found. Do you want to view the outstanding DO? If click OK cancel button, the system will continue login. If click OK button, the system automatically will bring you to the select DO screen. So the user just simply tick to select which DO you want to generate to invoice. After that, click OK button, the invoice is generated. So now the user can go to invoice transaction. You can see the invoice is generated, but it's without price because the DO is no price. Of course, if the DO come with price, then you no need to go to invoice detail to key in the price again. Now I can immediately print out the invoice. The GST is calculated. Now I want to show you is the bad debt relief. Bad debt relief, there is AR bad debt and AP bad debt. I go to the bad debt, AR bad debt. Okay, let's say example, the date is key in 31st of July. The system will automatically list up for those invoice already over 6 months but don't have any payment yet. The bad debt account number here I select is the bad debt AR account. After that, and let's say I go to batch number 9. I want to keep the transaction in batch number 9. I just simply tick to select which invoice I want to generate the bad debt relief. I just click the update button. Now go to the accounting transaction. Let's say batch number 9. You can see that the transaction is updated. The system will credit the customer account and debit to the bad debt AR and debit to the Apotex account. Because this the bill type is a CN, for this Apotex account, the figure will appear in the GST 03 as the input text. Now we go to the GST 03 report. Again, the date is July. You can see that the input text is shown out is 300 here, and there is the bad debt relief amount 5,000 appear here. Now I want to show you is the bad debt recover. The customer, when go to the August, they give you the payment. So I go to the GS transaction, GST Malaysia, update recover. I select the debtor. First, I need to select which customer pay you the invoice. I go to the customer code called 3001 and key in the bad debt AR account and the Apotex account. Let's say he pay you, let's say 5,300. Then I put the transaction to batch number 10. Okay, the transaction date maybe is happened in 31st August. The invoice number is 16. Then I just click the update button. Bad debt recover has completed. For the bad debt recover, so now I go to the GST 03 report. We go to August. The system will show you the Apotex is 300. You claim back from government again. There is a 5,000 amount will appear under bad debt recover. Now I want to show you bad debt relief for supplier, for creditor. We go to transaction, GST Malaysia, update bad debt relief, update AP bad debt relief. Okay, let's say I key the date. I go to September. I need key in different date because I want to show you the GST 03 report. So the bad debt account number we select is the bad debt AP. Let's say I go to batch number 11. Okay, the system will automatically show up for those invoice over 6 months but don't have any payment yet, let's say for this creditor account, I just tick one of the invoice, I click the update button, the update has completed. The operation is same to the update AR, bad debt delete. After update the bad debt delete AP, you can go to the batch, let's say 11, you can see the transaction is updated here. So now I want to show you the GST 03 report. I key in the date September. You can see that the output tax is show out here, so you can claim back the output tax from government. There is a difference with the bad debt AR. For the bad debt AR, they will show you the bad debt relief and the bad debt recover amount, but for bad debt AP, they will not show out. This is the main difference. The second difference is for bad debt AP is compulsory. This means that if the invoice is over 6 months, you must need to do the bad debt relief. But for customer invoice, for bad debt AR, that is not compulsory, it's optional. For the deposit, if the deposit is part of the payment, it's not refundable. So when you collect the deposit, you also need to calculate the GST. So I'll go to the voucher system. We call it other officer receipt. Let's say now I collect the deposit from the customer on 1st of April. I debit bank. So I key credit to the customer deposit account. Let's say $100. Tax to be added, normally we put no, because the deposit $100 normally is include the GST 6% GST. Now you go to the accounting transaction. You can see the deposit collected is updated in the accounting system. There's a debit to the bank 100 and credit to the customer deposit account and credit to the output tax account. I go to the invoice transaction. Okay, now I want to issue the invoice to the customer. The deposit collected is 100. The system account number we put in is the customer deposit account. Because the 100 already collected, that's why we put it under pay. When go to detail, key the item as normal. Let's say the item is only $1,000. Then you can preview the invoice. You can see that the amount is 1,000. The GST need to pay is $60, and let's say deposit 100, so the balance is $960. Go to accounting transaction. For the main transaction, you can see that the system will credit the sales account is 1,000, debits the customer is $960, and credit the output tax is 54.34 cents, and debit the customer deposit account is 94.34. Because the $100 already paid for the GST, that's why now the output tax is not $60, it's 54 only. Now I go to the ledger to check the customer deposit account. You can see that this account is always show zero amount. Now I go to check my GST 03 report. Let's say I want to preview the 1st of January example. You can see that the report will show up. Standard retail sales is 6,000. The taxable amount is 6,000. The output tax is $360. The following is the input tax. So the amount I need to pay is, because the output tax 360 minus the input tax 138.68 cents. So the amount I need to pay for the GST is 221.32 cents. Okay, if I want to know this 6,000 taxable amount for the sales and the output tax, how the system to calculate this one. You can go to the report. We have a lot of the supported report. Let's say list standard retail sales. Let's say I key in the date from 1st of January until 31st. So the system will show up there's only 2 invoices. Total up is 6,000, and there's the GST. Let's say now is end of February, so I need to export out the GAAP file to submit to JKDM. What I need to do is I go to transaction, GST Malaysia. There's the export GST audit file. Then I just key in the date 1st of January, then key in the directory. Let's say I want to put in the export file under drive C under backup folder. The audit file has completed generated. So you can see that there is a GIF file will show up under backup. This is the file. After export the GIF file, now what you need to do is you go to your internet, key in the following address: https GST custom address. After that, key in the user ID and the password. The user ID and password, they were assigned by the JKDM. During your do the GST registration, then they will give you this ID and password. After that, this screen will appear. Just click the account ID button, then click the submit the document. After that, click the next button, then the system will appear the letter ID. The letter ID also given by JKDM. After that, just key in your name of company name. Example, MIM System Salam Bahad, submitted by MKC. Then you take the add attachment file, then attach the file you exported out just now. From here you can choose the file. After that, you click save. After save, then click the submit button. Then the document, the GIF file, will auto submitted to custom. After submit the GIF file to the government, now I need to make the payment. Before make payment, I need to control this input tax and output tax account. Now I show you the ledger. You can see that there is input tax account 138.68 and the output tax account is $360. I'll go to transaction. I need pass one journal entry for zeroize these 2 accounts. The filter I put DJ 31st of January. I debit the output tax account 138.68. Now I check the input tax and output tax account in the ledger. When you preview, you can see that for input tax account now is 0 balance. The output tax is 221.32 cents. This is the amount I need to pay to JKDM. So what I do is I go to pass another entry. I go to the transaction again. Here another transaction. Credit bank. The bill type is PV. 31st of January. I want to debit to the output tax account. The amount I key in should be 221.32. So after key in this transaction, make the payment. So when you go to ledger account, I can see that for input tax and output tax account, until 31st January, both account is zero balance. That's all. After submit the file to the custom, so now I need to do is I need to close the January transaction. I go to mark and unmark GST option. The date I put in is 1st of January until 31st of January. Then I click yes. After mark mean the transaction for January you cannot modify, you cannot delete anymore. Mark GST has completed. So this demonstrations is end by today. So I hope this demonstration can help you. Good luck everybody.